This is the name, Mary Love. And right next to it, in the same government hand, the name of the man who claimed to own her. Mary is my third great-grandmother. For most of my life, I did not know she existed. It wasn't a diary. It wasn't a family Bible. It was the column her name sat in was plainly slave up. I grew up knowing the family came west. The Great Migration. Los Angeles. My grandfather, Marvin, born in Oklahoma in 1928. That was the edge of the map. When I started pulling records, I expected the usual story. A white plantation, a cotton county in Mississippi or Alabama. That is not what the record said. The trail ran back from Marvin to his grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, Martha Love, and her record was not in the Deep South. It was in the Chickasaw Nation, Tishomingo Indian Territory, card 834. The front of these carpless break ham Atlas Street. The front of these cards is just the bare fact of a person. The reverse is where the dead are named. Father, Jameson Love. They called him Jim. Mother, Mary Love. My great-great-grandmother's parents. My third great-grandparents. Two people I had never heard a single word about, fixed to the page beside the names of the men who held them. And here is the part that stopped me. Cubby Love and Hence Love were not white planters. They were Chickasaw. My ancestors were enslaved by members of the Chickasaw Nation. One of the 5 tribes that held black people in bondage and carried them west on the Trail of Tears. They stayed a stable-girding point in law and time. They stayed enslaved in Indian territory until an 1866 treaty forward for the question of what these people were now owed. I wanted proof. Can proof. I didn't want to hang everything on one card. So I went looking for anyone enslaved by the same 2 men with the same parents. I found him. Card 833. James Love, age 47, enrolling the very next day, filed right after Martha. Same father.
Same father, same mother. Owner for owner. James was Martha's brother. I'm my third great uncle.
Which means Mary Love now appears on two separate federal records, named by two of her own children. That is about as solid as a record this old gets. What it took to find her was learning to read these cards the way they were built. The cruelest line on the page, slave of, is the one that preserved the names. I have about the limits of what he has found so far. I have not yet found Jim and Mary in the act of being enslaved. No bill of sale. No plantation ledger with their names. Not yet. Those records, if they survived, are in Chickasaw Nation Probat in the 1856 tribal census. That is where I am headed next.
What I have is the moment their own triogen stood before a federal committee and said the names out loud. Mary Love, Jameson Love.
That's the name in the record. Now you know what it took.